One of the great things about the 2011 Walmart FLW Tour season is the growing list of sponsors. They're making this tour stronger than it's ever been before. And one name that really stands out is T Boone Pickens. Now, you may know him as a Texas tycoon or one of the nation's leading energy experts. But what you may not know about him is growing up in rural Oklahoma as a boy, he loved the outdoors. And thanks to a truly unique friendship, he's back deeply involved with a sport he loves. This is a prime cut of USDA Choice Texas Panhandle. 68,000 acres of pure prairie postcards. Mesa Vista Ranch is owned and beloved by iconic businessman T Boone Pickens, a world-renowned figure who even now in his 80s has never strayed far from his southwestern roots.
I grew up in a small town. I consider myself to be a regular guy, and I think other people view me that way. They say, yeah, well, he's a rich guy, but he's just like the rest of us.
It's that regular guy approach that's allowed Pickens to acquire friends seemingly as easily as he acquires fortunes. Among them is FLW Outdoors chairman Irwin Jacobs.
Boone is what you see is what you get. I will promise you, there's no surprises.
Pickens and Jacobs do come from diverse backgrounds, yet it's also no surprise their friendship has endured because their resumes have much in common. In the 80s, both men put the big in big business, grabbing headlines, amassing millions with bold strokes and savvy strategy. Few understood them the way they understood each other.
Boone made a lot of money, but the bottom line was he created more shareholder value than probably anybody in America. There was nothing like the cowboy.
The respect is mutual, and it's grown through the decades, even if every deal didn't go as planned. Take Pickens' acquisition of a struggling Texas oil company.
He wanted to buy it, and I owned enough to stop him. And I didn't like his price. So he came to buy mine. And he bought mine. He lost about 50 or 100 million on it. I don't know what he lost.
Probably one of the worst deals I ever made.
To Pickens' credit, he's never let a few million get in the way of a friendship. So it's not surprising he wanted to know more about Jacobs' plans for FLW.
And we were fishing out one of the lakes. And he said, "What's this fishing deal you do? What is this thing all about?" He said, "God, that sounds like fun." But I said, "It's going to take some work and take some money." He said, "Well, what about me?" I said, "What about you?" He said, "Can I play?"
So you know that I'm on board. Can I add to today's purse to the winner, bring it up from 500,000 to 600,000? So just natural the way it happened. All at once now we're in business together.
It's an ideal fit. You see, Pickens has remained an avid outdoorsman since his early days in Holdenville, Oklahoma.
I guess you could say people don't change.
He still recalls the hunting trips with boyhood friends and the insistence on eating all you shot.
I've eaten blue jays, woodpeckers, meadowlarks, but it was kind of interesting when you left. I'd always slip a candy bar in my pocket just in case.
Those early years had a profound impact and still shape his priorities today. His childhood home was moved virtually intact to Mesa Vista.
That table right there.
This one right here?
Yeah, my mother made 3 trips to Oklahoma City. My dad said, "Buy it this time, Grace, because you're spending more money on gasoline than the table's worth."
Preserving the outdoors inspires much of his public and private philanthropy. It's why he bought the ranch, and it's one of the driving principles in his now famous Pickens Plan.
I'm T Boone Pickens. I've been an oil man my whole life, but this is one emergency we can't drill our way out of.
The focus is to promote alternative energy sources like wind and solar, along with other domestic resources to make the country independent of foreign oil.
The country, if you imagine, the United States uses every day 21 million barrels of oil. And there's about 86 million produced in the world. So we're using about 25% of the oil, and we only have 4% of the population.
You don't have to be an expert to see those are unsustainable numbers. But year after year, administration after administration, there's been a lot of talk, but no action.
It's mind-boggling that we're the only country without an energy plan, and we use more than anybody else.
So he's put his money where his mouth is. The Pickens plan lays out a strategy for the future. Obviously, plenty of people agree it's time to rethink energy.
We have signed up in the Pickens Plan Army 1,700,000 people.
On tour this year, professional angler Randy Blockett will be an army of one.
How much longer do you think before we can make the transition away from oil, period?
He's spending the day at Mesa Vista because he was the lone angler chosen to represent Pickens' plan in 2011. The choice was a no-brainer.
I remember about 6 years ago, we had an ice storm back in Missouri. It knocked out a lot of the power. A lot of people were out of power for 3 or 4 days. And also that same month, we got a electric bill for over $500.
So he and his wife conceived, designed, and built a house completely off of the electrical grid, powering it with solar energy.
It's not like we were roughing it. We were out there just, in survival mode. I mean, we didn't change our lifestyle other than the fact of just being a little bit more aware of our energy consumption, which, that's a good idea for anybody.
That line of thinking embodies much of what the man with the plan hopes will become a reality sooner rather than later.
Fabulous. I mean, the more ambassadors we have, the better, but Randy would be one of the best, I know.
T Boone is awesome to be around. He's extremely approachable, he's very down to earth, very friendly. He's obviously an expert in his field on alternative energy. And the time that I've had to spend with him a little bit has been extremely motivational and educational.
So it's better fishing out in the lake.
The best wintertime fishing is when the water is a lot cleaner because, they feed a lot more by sight in the wintertime.
For Randy, the days don't get much better than this. Fishing with one of the financial world's ultimate insiders, who also happens to be one of America's greatest outdoors advocates for this generation and the next.
Not all kids are outdoor people, but I would tell you a lot more of them would be outdoor people if they had the opportunity to be.
Randy can't wait to get some big bass on his blue boat and more fans on board with the Pickens plan.
We've got 50 million almost licensed anglers. When you have a group that large that's motivated, you can really get things done and do a lot of good things.
As for Jacobs, he's already done one of the best deals of his life, sharing his love for fishing with one of the men he admires most.
I got to tell you something about Boone. I've had a lot of experiences in my life, met a lot of people, obviously. There isn't a single person on this earth that's more honorable.
Amazing, Boone, just amazing. Great life, just a great life.
It is.
It's a friendship that'll make FLW Outdoors stronger than ever. On that, you can bet the ranch. And we do look forward to seeing more of Randy and his blue boat. Coming up, we'll show you how Randy's boat and how all the tour boats are still made one at a time. And later, a true American hero shares his heartbreaking story.
It seems like a dream at first, but the sounds are too real. I mean, I heard guys screaming, I heard yelling, just terrible noises.